place because that records all of the the environmental variables.
Got it.
So
Okay.
it's actually more important to log it in C-log first
Okay.
than on paper, because we can get most of the extra information from the paper from C-log.
Roger. Sounds good.
Data, is that 099?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the celebration of shrimp in the chat. We greatly
thanks
appreciate
for
it.
the patience to try fourth. What was that, fourth or
I
fifth?
think that was fourth, yeah. Yeah,
try.
fourth or fifth try.
Yeah, very large. Large
Ooh.
bamboo coral fan, I believe. Very, very unusual on such a small rock, such a big fan.
I don't know if that was a pun or he's a fan of the small
Sometimes,
rock.
you know, I'm just that good. I do it without trying. No, I'm guessing that rock is probably pretty solid to support this. Otherwise, it would fall over, I would imagine. It does appear that there's a fairly consistent downslope flow, though. All the animals are bending that direction. Yeah, okay.
You good? You want?
Yeah, we're good.
So,
Yep.
I'd be curious to know what the shear strength is of a coral skeleton.
The bases are, I think, sometimes they give away easier than you might expect. Like the whole base will pop off. Sometimes they're pretty solid. I think it depends a lot on what type of substrate they're attached to. If it's crust or if it's more rocky.
we've attempted to get a Paragorgia stump off, a rather large dead one, and we could not dislodge it with the ROV. We had to manip on it, and we were just totally getting Western with it.
Wow.
It was a fairly, probably 2-inch huge stump, but yeah, it was permanently on the rock. And then sometimes you just barely touch them and they let go. I guess that would be the attachment, though, not the shear strength of the coral itself.
Ooh, another sea cucumber. Or
Is that a
maybe
coral?
something else. Actually, I think it may be a coral. Yeah, you're right.
Yep, it's coral.
Bamboo.
With a brittle star, maybe?
Yep, similar to that
Zoom in there, Dan.
one we saw a bit deeper.
Sure look
Actually,
like nodes in the background, too.
Yeah. I believe it's a bamboo. Can we head down towards the base slowly?
Yeah, Reg.
Very high density polyps on one side, or two sides. Yeah, a lot of material, like marine snowed, phytodetritus attached.
You want to see it all the way to the base there, do you?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's easier to see the nodes. Actually,
Zoom. We got a little zoom left, I think, maybe.
yeah, it does look like a bamboo. I can see a node at the base. For a second there, I thought it was a sea pen, but I don't think it's that. Can we go back up? Yeah, I think there's enough information here. Oh, it's super bendy. Yeah, it's a bamboo coral for sure. It's moving around quite a bit. All right, that's good. Thanks.
Okay, off we go.
It's a bamboo coral mimicking a sea pen there. Not really mimicking, but definitely, to my eyes, looked ambiguous enough. But sometimes when the tissue is so thick, it can obscure the nodes, makes it difficult to see.
Oh, yeah, I think you can go. Yeah, We're not stopping often
Looks
enough
like
to...
broken up sheet flow, kind of. Switch to lava types. Not types,
Bridge nav.
but morphologies.
That would be, yeah, that would be consistent with what we're heading up now, which
Can
is,
we move
looks like
40
a
meters
cone of
to
some
10,
type.
please? Thank you.
Now the question I have is, if this is an uplifted ridge, why is there a cone on top?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or did the cone just like score a perfect, you know, secondary volcanic event right in the middle of the ridge?
That's possible.
What do you think is more probable?
Faults
Gauges
can,
both look good.
faults can create lava tubes as well. So if it's an older uplifting event during the Cretaceous, then it's possible.
It's a very thin line of rocks here you're following.
We got one of your buddies, sucker.
Yeah. Sorry. That'll teach you to sit there at the bottom of the ocean.
Do we have time to pick up a rock?
Sure.
This guy right here?
The one we just flew over?
Yeah.
Grab up that rock there.
Not sure the next time we're going to see an outcrop, so
It's pretty
haven't
big.
got one in a while.
You want to pause, Dan?
I think we're all right.
Okay.
Poke it first, see if it moves.
And just pushed us off.
Yeah,
Oh.
I saw it move. You should
Okay.
be able to get it. Get a little deeper grab, I think. Well, you got it.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Oh.
that has more connective than I thought it was. What a weird looking rock.
Good rock, bad rock.
I think bad rock.
Bad rock.
Yeah, sorry.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Still looks
Oh.
cool.
Well, let's set it back down on the
Yeah.
seabed there. Yeah, it's a good spot for it.
Oh.
Can see a lot more of these bioturbation mounds. These are probably from infauna, all these little lumpy white
Those
patches of sediment
pretty sure look like manganese
from
nodules
animals.
to me. So more rounded, these guys.
Yeah, maybe you want to zoom in a little bit,
Sure.
see how rounded they are.
Go ahead then. Maybe they're not as dense as some of the other ones we've got, but full zoom there, is it?
There we go.
They have good separation. which you see a lot in other nodule fields. Not exactly spherical though.
No.
I say no.
Right.
Yep. Pseudo-nodules.
Mimics, if you will.
And to answer that question, what rock are you looking for? Oh, sorry. What are you looking for in a rock?
Hit one on the bubble cam there.
Coming over. We're looking for a rock called Basalt. It is a mafic igneous rock.
Bridge nav.
Can you give us some of the characteristics of it for this
Can we
person
move
in chat?
40 meters 225, please? Thank you.
Sorry. So yeah, we're looking for a mafic igneous rock called Basalt.
And what are some of the characteristics in a good looking basalt?
It doesn't have alteration colors like red or yellow on it. So we want it to be a darker gray. And we want to see some good mineralization in it. So plagioclase, clinopyroxene. Yeah.
And to really quickly answer that question in chat, will the pressure change on the ascent affect the shrimp? No, not necessarily.
Can we go over here a little bit?
Sure.
Specifically, can we zoom in kind of in this area, anywhere? We might want to do a scoop.
Right.
Scoopies?
Yeah, let's do we'll do a scoop maybe right here in this area. Looks pretty good. Rob is interested in some of these nodules to see if they're any different from the other sites we were at. We'll do a tight zoom on the sediment before we just go scoop action.
I just kind of blew it out there. You can zoom in there.
All right. Good captures. I think we'll use the, I don't know, if we use the big mesh scoop, will that go? Can that go in the forward bin?
Yeah, should do.
I think there might even be some room in E though. I think we could probably put it in there too.
Do you want to pause? Bridge nav. Can we hold position here, please? Thank you.
That's a good DSC scoop opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, Dan, you can zoom in there for me.
Sure.
Oops, freeze fail.
Let's do, can we do one more
Yeah, absolutely.
line of those, maybe somewhere out here, if you can. Something with the bigger nodules that are like right on the surface. These look good.
Nice crack.
It's the right current, right direction. Keeps it nice and clean.
There looked like a rock that would look like a square in there. Just a straight square. That was weird.
So, Brandon, could you tell us how these nodule fields are formed? Or what are they and how are they formed?
So nodules are a rock precipitated out of the water. We call it hydrogenic. And it's sort of a accumulation of various metals, iron and manganese. That's why we call it iron manganese nodules, as well as nickel and cobalt and other things. Yeah, they precipitate out of the water column.
I think that's good. We can stow it.
Read it.
Nothing floaty in the tool tray, right?
And nope.
Yeah, where do you think is better, in the forward box or Dan? Do you have a preference?
It's easier to get in the starboard box for sure.
All right, let's put it in E. I think we have plenty of room in E.
All right.
So as we kick up all this dust and we see it
Can you hit,
move off to the
yeah,
screen,
so
someone in chat wants to know, how strong is the current and it's constant? And is it constant?
yeah, that's probably
The current in the ridge area more broadly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. As far as we know,
sorry,
it seems fairly consistent within the months that we've modeled the data for. So July and August, little difference, or June, July, sorry. But based on how the biology has been growing, which is always my kind of best indicator, because these are very slow growing animals and they're subject to currents over long periods of time. It seems to suggest that the prevailing currents are downslope, so towards deeper water. And that's been the same pattern observed, I think, for most of the dive.
Do you know why that is?
I don't know why that is in this case. I would imagine, if currents are coming out of the north, if this is a canyon, canyons might tend to funnel and downwell waters. That could be a local action. So otherwise, I don't know what other drivers it could be. Could be, yeah, I'm guessing deep water currents probably out of the north or moving east or west that have just local downslope directionality. It'll be interesting to see on the south side if it was a similar characteristic.
okay.
The south side of this ridge is a bit sharper.
I think you're about to get a little tug.
Roger.
We have a few questions for our ROV guys. What is on the left side of the front porch, not the first monkey knot?
Left side of the front porch. Oh, that's a digital still camera.
Ah,
The DSC, digital still camera.
nice.
Science team is using it to take stills of interesting targets, I believe.
That's usually around Brandon's job.
Yep, I am photographer back here.
Yeah. We're very
Hit one on the bubble count for me.
Coming to one.
Multi-tool team over here on the EV Nautilus.
Okay, you can start.
Yep.
Yeah.
I pretty much take pictures whenever I see life, or if I see different or interesting geology,
Bridge nav.
which is every couple minutes, basically.
Can we move 40 meters, 245, please? Thank you.
Yeah, a lot
Still
of
getting
the,
used to this one
in
thrusting.
addition to the scientific value of the digital still camera, it's used for a lot of our website highlights and things like that. You'll probably see them coming out over the next several days. Some of the best of the best imagery from the first several dives.
You'll have to turn a specific way there.
So you know none of my images are going to
I'm
be in
gonna
there.
turn.
So yeah, if you don't like the
counterclockwise.
photos, you can blame Brandon.
Whatever you do, take that half turn
No,
out there.
Be sure to let him know
check.
personally.
Come up just a bit as they
We
come
share
under
the
here.
burden across the 3
Yeah.
watches.
How's that?
Come up just a little.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Good there.
Come
Another
up a bit
question
more
for the ROV pilots. Does the ROV drop weight / ballast?
There's a good-looking rock right there, if you have time.
I will answer that question in a second.
Yes.
Sure, yeah,
And
we
if so,
did.
when would you do it?
We did
Okay.
drop ballast.
Bridge nav.
Okay, the wrap's out.
Can we hold position, please?
Have that rock up.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, Delta's at 1819.
These are all very large rocks.
They are very large rocks.
That one isn't too big, is it? Not as big as the other ones.
I can't tell. The other ones were about 10-15 centimeters.
Oh, I guess it's the same then.
Yeah.
Not terribly huge. So they always look bigger on the seafloor. Unless you have to carry them across the deck.
That's probably a
And they're
6 to 8
excruciatingly
inch rock
large.
there. Hold that scoop down nicely.
Oh. So close. So,
Don't see any alteration, so I like that.
Stick it out in the light there so we can get a picture of it. Maybe lift it up a little bit higher. Yeah, that's nice there.
Once again, it's not very angular, but we haven't seen anything angular for a long time. So I think it's good to take.
we're happy with it?
Yeah.
All right.
I have to drop some more ballast.
You want to go on top of the scoop?
I think so, yeah.
So this rock is more rounded than the others. In case we have to, we're going to put it on top of the scoop. So that'll be E, so we can keep track of how many different rocks, so we can tell them apart later on. Uh-oh.
Well,
Now what are you going to do? Maybe we'll go in F.
if you'd
Okay.
like to see what we're looking at, go ahead and turn to channel 3, and you can see our little dilemma that we're having.
Crikey.
Sorry, I keep grabbing too big of rocks. Oh, what's that?
Sitting in there, Dan.
Yeah, there's something there.
Is that
Wow.
another crinoid?
All right, who wants to guess what's going on
It's
here?
definitely not a crinoid.
Is that a squat? That's not a squat lobster.
It is definitely a...
100 watch bucks to whoever gets this.
100
Let
watch
me see that thing
Is
for a
that
minute.
another shrimp?
sea spider?
It's frozen.
Yeah. All right, we're on the right track.
Sea
Okay.
serpent.
Sea spider was right.
Oh.
Ah.
Well, technically I was right because there is a
Get a few
crinoid.
grabs of this. This is
So
really
Okay.
cool.
What's it?
Gotcha.
What's it do?
This is a sea spider predation on a bamboo coral.
Oh.
all right, Bandit gets the watch bucks.
Yeah, this is so the yellow golden colored animal is a sea spider, and you can see its proboscis up on top there. Just above it, it's preying on, looks like these polyps of this bamboo coral. So it's been something that's been observed before, but I think this is the first time we've seen it on this expedition, so interesting.
And then real quickly, hi, when you get coral and sponges back to the ship, do they look the same as they do in the ocean? The sponges look a little bit more dried out, especially when we have them
absolutely
in
massive.
sampling. But the coral
what's up with
usually
that?
keep their same
Circle.
kind of shape, and they usually look
So
about
the
roughly the
rock
same.
is successfully stowed in F.
Nice.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, they moved it to F, yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, super.
Well, my colleagues don't get mad at me for taking up all the rock space.
They will.
So, Steve, do these sea spiders, do they have predators?
Sea spiders, do they have predators?
Someone in chat wants to know.
I would imagine. I don't know what the exact predators of the sea spiders are. The sea spiders are interesting animals just generally. If you can see, like there's a slight amount of kind of looks like luminosity to the legs of the sea spider. They actually have tissue that covers their legs. They have no like gas exchange organs, so all of their oxygen and CO2 is transferred off of the tissue in their legs. They have a really simplistic body plan. They're very little anatomy in the center here. It's mostly digestive. There's a couple of eye spots sometimes, usually too. But a lot of like their reproductive material fills up the volume of their legs, which is most of their body. Yep. Yeah, it's a neat process. All right, are we all set to move?
Yep, we can head on anytime.
All right,
Bridge nav.
nice predation event.
So Steve, someone wants to know, how large do sea spiders
Climb
get?
40
Are they
meters,
crustaceous?
250, please. Thank you.
Are they crustaceans? No, they're not crustaceans. They are, they belong to the same groups as some of the land spiders, like the chelicerates.
Oh.
The chelicerates share their, have relatives with land spiders.
So are they arachnid, would you say?
I don't know if they're arachnids. I know they're chelicerates. I have to look up my taxonomy there.
Oh, that's shrimpy on the rock.
It's a good thing.
For example, like horseshoe crabs are chelicerates also, but
cool rock flow.
not arachnids necessarily.
So speaking of rocks, someone in chat a little while ago asks, how viable are deep sea basalt formations for human-generated carbon dioxide sequestration? Do you know, Brandon?
I have no idea. Sorry.
Can you repeat that?
How viable are deep sea basalt formations for human-generated carbon dioxide sequestration?
Sequestration?
Sequestration, yes.
I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've heard sequestration before, but
I think they're asking if it can be viable to be harnessed into oxygen and carbon dioxide producing.
Carbon sequestration is like taking carbon produce carbon gas and then storing it in some other form, like pressurized as a liquid, or
Like turning CO2 into rocks.
I think that perhaps what they're getting at, or maybe they're talking about pumping it into deep sea basalt structures, store it. I'm not sure. Carbon sequestration is like similar to storage.
Quick zoom there while we're on the
I mean,
deck.
you could make a pretty good argument that the deep sea, water generally and sediments are fairly well sequestered sources of carbon.
Okay.
To get large turnover of this water mass would take thousands of years. So things that are this deep in the ocean are not exposed to our atmosphere regularly. If you are familiar or if you're interested in kind of carbon sequestration in the deep sea, I'd suggest you check out information about the ocean conveyor belt, the way that our oceans basically breathe, the deep oceans specifically, where, for example, in the North Atlantic is typically where ocean conveyor belts, quote unquote, start with the downwelling of cold, denser water, and then a lot of the water will downwell and travel around the deeper oceans for sometimes thousands of years before they're ultimately upwelled in mass, largely in the North Pacific, but in other places as well, Southern Ocean, a lot of mixing going on. So a lot of this carbon dioxide that is present in the sediments right here, or carbon rather, that is present in the sediments right around us, as well as the carbon dioxide that's present in the water, is fairly well sequestered. It does not exchange freely with the atmosphere.
Ah, okay. So when all this water gets pushed up, what is that? How does that happen? What does that create?
So it's largely density driven. So in the north, so one place that waters are upwelled is, for example, off the coast of California. We have a lot of deep waters that are upwelled or pulled, rather, based on to replace a lot of the offshore winds that push water offshore at the surface. The offshore water is replaced by deeper water, which is usually more oxygen poor,
Bridge nav.
CO2 rich.
Can we move 40 meters?
This one
to
looks like
50,
had a
please?
visit from a sea spider in the past.
Thank you.
Speaking of sea spiders, somebody asked, is it hypothesized that land arachnids evolved from species like the sea spider?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know which one is more. So sometimes we call them more basal. So like which one arose first. I don't know the answer to that. In invertebrate zoology class, oftentimes most of the material omits land-based, like insects and bugs and
They're hard to preserve.
Yeah. So it's I'm not sure about that, but I know that sea spiders are quite an old lineage.
Yeah, as well as horseshoe crabs.
Yep.
Very old.
There's some homework for you Nautilus Live viewers at home.
Maybe up to 400 million years or so, something like that.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Wow.
Pushing on that, whatever he is.
It's a worm tube.
Does that mean they've survived a mass extinction?
Yes, they have survived several.
Wow.
Very resilient creatures. They're basically the Picture X perfect anatomy for surviving.
Perfect anatomy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what makes it have perfect anatomy? Like what are some characteristics of it?
It's carapace. I mean, we're kind of getting off topic because we're not going to see any horseshoe crabs, but I could just talk quickly. Their carapace protects them very well, and they just eat detritus. And they're shallow sea, and they have legs that can move them around, so they're not stationary. So they just, They don't have a lot of predators.
Can we take a Niskin bottle right here? Or in
Sure.
this general area?
Yeah.
This is the most substantial coral we've seen, so there's at least two or three species here worth characterizing. We've got large nodal branching bamboo corals, and then there's another unbranched bamboo coral in the background too. Actually, we're going to want to take a closer look at that on the way out. So none of the Niskins have been popped yet, so I think we're going for number 1.
Sounds good.
Numero uno.
It's a good sample.
Lovely.
.3367 meters.
Okay, I can zoom in on that guy. Dusted him.
.102.
Check that.
Oh yeah, nice bamboo coral. Actually, while we're here, can we take a snip of this?
Yeah. Show me that manip again.
Neat looking bamboo. Large sclerites, could be diagnostic. It's also looks to be a nodal brancher. Nodal brancher.
Do you want the branches?
No, we just need a snip.
So
You know, 10,
branch right
10
there.
centimeter, yeah. That's fine. If you can get that, that's great.
Yeah.
10 centimeters or so is just about all we need with a branch, if possible. We'll put this one in the forward box, lambda.
Roger.
And we'll use that as our biology drawer.
You can open the drawer there if you want. I don't think there's
Huge
anything in it.
sclerites there.
Okay, Dan, you go wide for us.
After this, I've changed my mind. Can we go back and get another piece of similar size?
Yeah.
Want me to close that up a bit?
No, that's all right. Can we zoom in there, Dan?
Yep.
This guy over here, maybe?
Yeah, either branch, that's fine. Yep, that looks good.
Do you want separate sample sheets for this one?
No, it can be the same sample. Yep. 2 pieces. That's good.
Okay, I can go away.
Oh, nice. Tina did some searching for us, one of our scientists ashore. Sea spiders dated to at least 425 million years, but the first fossil arachnid was only about 300 million years old.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
So based on the fossil record, sea spiders were first.
Well, there you go. There's your answer.
Okay.
Wow.
That's it, Steve?
That's it.
5 on the bubble for me.
5 on the bubble.
Then I have a question for the ROV people. On a previous day, someone asked about hydrophones on Hercules. The answer was that Hercules was very loud, so the hydrophones would only record Hercules. My question is, 1, why is Hercules so loud? And 2, can you muffle Hercules in any way to make it less loud?
Can we zoom it on this thing in the back while we have a chance?
Well, Hercules runs a hydraulic pump
Zoom in there.
constantly to operate its thrusters. And the arm you just saw, and that pump is powered by an electrical motor. Both those are quite loud.
I can get closer if you want.
Yeah,
Steve.
can we get a little bit closer?
Thrusters
Yeah,
themselves
go wide
make
there.
noise too.
Hop up. Can you hit 1 on the bubble cam for
1
me?
on the bubble. So those 3 things are big noise generators. I suppose you also hear the USB-L going off, right?
No.
No? Okay. What was the second part of that question about hydrophones?
The second question was, can you
ready for a
muffle
move,
Hercules
Dan?
in any way or make it less loud?
What's that?
You ready for a move?
Oh, we're going to look at this coral real
Oh,
quick.
okay.
Not easily. You wouldn't want your hydraulics to not be running, or your motor to not be running.
Okay, you can try to zoom there.
I'm not sure if there are some sophisticated ways to sort of shield a hydrophone from
There
certain
are,
sources.
we've put them on other vehicles, so we use some fancy software to filter out the
Screen
different,
grab and we're good to go.
Yep.
All right, good to go.
Good to go. Different wavelengths, and it's somewhat successful.
That was another Macroprimnoa ornata specimen that was observed by the last watch. A bit deeper. It's a deep water species, only greater than 3,000 meters, but they sampled it. So just to confirm, it's in our eDNA sample that we got from this small little cluster here.
Nice. So, speaking of deep water, someone in the chat wants to know, what's the deepest dive Nautilus has ever done?
Oh, I blew that one out. Got to do a quick zoom on this guy.
Well, Nautilus, we hope, stays on the surface.
Nervous laughter.
Sea pig.
So what's the deepest dives an ROV launch on Nautilus has ever done?
Okay.
Cool.
We've had Argus down to the rated depth of 6,000 meters. There's currently about 7,200, 7,300 meters of cable on the drum.
So we've been down pretty deep, for those of you wondering. On the topic of sound, someone asked from chat, I know some deep sea species have eye spots, but have any been found with auditory senses?
That's a great question.
I don't know if that would be favorable in this environment. Sound travels a lot faster in water, so I don't know. Probably be very annoying to have auditory abilities in the deep sea.
I think those shrimp can hear us coming.
Yeah.
I swear, man, they got a sixth sense. They're watching the live stream, that's why.
So I'm curious, why don't you think you could hear the USB-L? Or at least you'd pick it up as a signal on the hydrophone.
Yeah, I'm sure I mean, some like hull-mounted sonars you can hear at the surface if you listen closely on a quiet day.
Yeah, I don't know. The hydrophones I've listened to, I've never heard the USBL chirp. Why that is, I don't know. Maybe they were
Might be
filtering.
listening at a certain frequency.
Yeah, I'm sure they're filtering. Mind you, the shrimp probably just felt us coming.
Yeah, same with the fish. Lateral. What is that?
Yeah.
Lateral.
Lateral line.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
But we outsmarted them. We showed them the true king,
Bridge
the
now.
bottom of the ocean. Is
Same step,
Hercules.
please. 40250.
There's a bit more life here. I'm optimistic that as soon as we get off watch, the next watch we'll probably see a ton more stuff. It seems like just getting up on top of this or out of this canyon, there might be some
Gonna be a slow trip
possibly
home. All those
better
big rocks.
flow conditions that might support these larger biology. But I mean, the currents are still, fairly strong downslope. It's impressive.
Why is it that it flows down slope like this? Is it just how it goes? Is it because it's facing down slope that the current flows that way, or?
So if the currents are predominantly out of the north at depth here, you would assume if they're flowing southwards from the north and they hit a big feature like a ridge like this, they would either have to go up, down, left, or right. The model suggests that there's an east-west current flow, but locally there can be smaller scale flows, and especially in canyons, which tend to channel water, either upwards or downwards.
Sure.
I'm guessing that's why we're having a down slope current here.
That makes more sense.
Couple cucumbers, it looks like.
Yeah, or a rock that looks like a cucumber.
Right.
Talking about that guy.
Yeah, I think it's a rock actually.
But just below your Zeus view is another one.
Cucumber rocks.
There we are.
Oh, there's
Up
one.
there,
There's
yeah.
a real one. That's the one I was talking about, for sure.
Let's zoom
One
in on
of
that
these
guy.
things
Go
is
on.
not like the other.
This one's less translucent.
It doesn't have like the
Seems.
tendrils either.
He's just hanging out.
And it still has that, looks like a modified 2 feet towards its front.
Yeah,
It still looks like it has tendrils too on its front as well.
just
Smaller,
shorter.
yeah.
But yeah, way shorter.
Sweet.
Great. All right, good captures back here. Let's keep on going. think we're about to go through a watch change, so we'll sign off to everyone on shore and be back hopefully in 12 hours, and maybe we'll still be on the seafloor.
All right. We're going to go ahead and start handing this over to Team Sea Pickle. And we hope to give them a speedy
Strong name.
Good watch, everyone. I'm out.
All right.
Wait, what is our watch name?
Good watch.
We're Delta Dan and the
Benthic
storms.
Benthic storm.
Benthic storms.
Come on, man.
That's nice.
Strong name.
All right.
Are we going to make shirts for that?
See you. I hope so.
Oh, shit.
What would that even look like?
It'd look
Benthic
cool.
storms.
That's what it'd look like.
Just on the back?
Oh, okay, just in letters?
Oh, no, like an actual benthic storm.
Oh, okay.
I'll just start going through some checks while I'm waiting here. Get on the hour started.
Yeah, can you just a real quick twirl through the gauges for me, just so I can have just a peek?
Yeah, you bet. All right, so there's the primary, 2.9.
Okay.
Graph sitting at 3.
So yeah, 3, I guess. Hey, okay.
Yeah, those are pretty. They dropped a little bit from previous. Res.
Cool. Okay, thanks.
No problem. Yeah, the poor forward thruster's really been getting a workout on Atalanta.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay.
Come up a little bit here. Did you see we caught a shrimp?
Oh, did you get one?
4th attempt.
Yeah, they're usually pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's hard to sneak up on shrimp.
We had to have the craft preloaded on the hose there. All right.
Not hearing you. Oh. Oh,
I'll talk on this pill real quick.
sure.
Oh, okay.
Can we zoom in, please? Go, come Mike.
Aloha kakahiaka. Good morning, everyone. Your muted crew is back in the house on the watch this morning from 8 to 12. And I just wanted to go through some short, quick introductions for who we've got on our watch this morning. So I am Hoku Pihana. I'm your science communicator. And thank you for joining us. I'm going to pass it over to Rob.
Good morning, afternoon, evening. This is Rob McCollany. I'm the watch leader and also the geology lead on this cruise from the University of Rhode Island.
250.
And I guess that's it for this morning.
Yay! Thanks, Rob.
We're currently going 0.3.
Liz, how about you? Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, that's fine.
My name's Liz Miller. I'm a biologist coming to you from University of Hawaii.
Mahalo, Liz. Aloha, kukui.
Hi, aloha kako, everybody. I'm Kukui Gavigan, and I'm going to be your guys' day logger for a little bit.
Yay. Emma.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Emma, and I am the navigation intern.
Thank you, Emma. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Josh Chernoff, Herc pilot on the watch and ROV operations manager for OET. And welcome, Kukui.
Hey, welcome, Kukui. Aloha, Michael.
Good morning. I am Michael. I'm going to be an Atlanta pilot, co-pilot, and assistant to Herc in any way I can.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Hoku. Dave Robertson, lead video engineer, and pushing the buttons, making the show.
Awesome. Yvonne. Good morning, Yvonne.
You're muted.
You're muted. Oh.
All right, yeah, that one works.
There you are.
The top one didn't work.
We
Sorry
found
about that.
you.
Oh, that's again. I did it again. Well, good morning.
I did
Ivan Vicente,
it
U.S. Fish and
again.
Wildlife Service, here as a guest educator. Very excited once again to be part of the Herc and Hoku morning show. Let's roll with the show.
Hoku in the morning.
The Herc and Hoku show, yes. Oh, mahalo everyone for introducing yourself and putting a smile on my face first thing in the morning. And we do have some questions coming in, so scientists, pilots, everyone just let me know when you're ready and I'll open the floor. So ROV pilots, I have a few questions for you.
Away.
Well, the first is, how do you pilot an ROV?
How do you pilot an ROV?
Very
carefully.
Is it
very slowly and methodically. Yeah.
So is it commands you put into a screen, joystick controls,
Yeah,
WASD? The options are endless. I'm dying for an answer.
okay. Well, I can say about this system anyway. There's several ways to pilot an ROV, but you can do the first two things you said. You can pilot it kind of manually with the joysticks. You can also put it into like a closed loop control, like an auto system, where you can put in steps and directions and speeds, and so you can pilot it kind of a little more on autopilot. So yeah, you kind of have choices. So if we're in the room right now, I've got a little joy box with some buttons on it and a 3-axis joystick for horizontals, and I have a depth joystick specifically, so I can control my verticals.
Oh yeah.
And then, but I can also, if I wanted to, I can switch into like an all auto mode and drive it completely auto, so I can have an auto heading, auto altitude. I can set a step and a speed and a bearing, all just through punching numbers into a screen. I can also do partial autos, so I have a choice of just going into auto heading, for example, and just drive the straight heading, and the ROV will maintain that heading for me. I can do the same thing with auto altitude individually, auto depth if I choose.
Wow.
So yeah, there's lots of options. I personally like to fly manually with no autos. It's my preferred method, but everyone has a different.
Yeah, I noticed like when you guys are piloting, you can kind of get a sense of what the current's doing, and there's different things that you can kind of sense in the movement as is that because you're doing it manually and you don't have it on auto?
Yeah, for me, and that's why I don't choose to use autos. Like, it is kind of weird it's exactly the word we use, I feel, like I can feel the current. Like you sort of, it's funny how we talk in those terms, like you become, it's like you're down there, you know?
Right.
And you can become very in tune with the different environmental conditions or how the conditions change, as you say, like you're going up a steep hill and you come over the top and the current increases, or it's swirling or changes direction. And you can really, between all the information that you have in front of you and all the video that you have, after a while, and what the front row should be doing, and what I do is you build with all this information in front of you, you're constantly viewing it all. I kind of do laps of all the information in front of me, and you create your situational awareness, and you try and heighten that, and I try and put all of that in kind of a three-dimensional thought in my head about what's going on three-dimensionally down there.
Yeah, because we're only seeing it in a two-dimensional image.
Exactly, yeah. So you use all this information to create that in your head, so you become much more situationally aware where you've been, where you're going, how the environmental conditions are. So you very much feel, in the end, you're kind of feeling everything and how it is. So
interesting.
Can we zoom in on this coral, please, Dave?
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
So we do have some more coming in here. Liz, I'm going to shift this one over.
Looks like another bamboo coral.
To you. When you're ready, let me know.
Do you see the notes?
We're having a look at a neat coral right now.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Bad. Yeah, bamboo. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So do you know why there's such big marine snowflakes falling in this area compared to the last dive?
Yeah, that's something we've been asking ourselves, and Rob and I have been discussing a little bit, but you know, the short answer is we really don't know. We've been speculating a lot, but yeah, this was definitely not something we were expecting to see. And we're trying to figure out what exactly it is. We've got, you know, a few different ideas. Might be something called a foraminifera. But we didn't expect necessarily to find higher surface production, is what we call it, the photosynthesis at the surface, which usually leads to these kind of big flux events.
Huh.
So yeah, we're
I mean, it's been, since our last watch, it's been kind of like this the whole time.
Apparently it's been like this for the whole dive.
Interesting.
Which is really interesting for the animals that live on the seafloor, because you do sometimes get these like sudden large mass deposition events is what we call them, and a lot of the animals can like take advantage of it on the seafloor and kind of scoop up a bunch of this food really fast.
So I was going to say this is probably like a good spot with lots of food resources then.
At this moment, yes. I don't think it is normally.
Oh,
this might be a short event and sort of temporary one.
Okay, cool.
Can we get another zoom on this coral?
But we've been seeing in a lot of the sea cucumbers actually with their guts being filled a lot with the sediment.
Oh.
Could that also be from the detritus that is like falling? So it could be a possible evidence that this is usually occurring in this place?
So a lot of the cucumbers will actually change their activity levels, and when you get a lot of flux like this, they'll start to move a lot faster.
Okay.
And kind of zoom around. You can see in this shot in the background, you can see the clumps on the seafloor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Liz and I were having our coffee this morning watching Good Morning Nautilus.
Awesome.
We were noticing that inside most of these snowflakes is a little darker area.
Interesting.
And so that would kind of maybe think it's a foram surrounded by some sort of, they often have spines and like a gel, like an amoeba sort of character that they capture their
and so
their
some
prey.
of the bigger clumps would probably be multiple ones kind of stuck together.
Oh, okay, so that would be, that wouldn't be one individual then, most likely just a whole bunch that have consolidated to
The bigger
larger
chunks,
pieces, yeah.
Some of the smaller
Interesting.
ones could be one.
Do you guys plan on taking any water samples at this depth, or would this information help contribute to the eDNA studies that are occurring on the ship? Or?
I don't think that the eDNA work will be targeting whatever this is, but we were talking about maybe. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Anemone?
Yep, we're hoping that the Niskin samples may have captured some of this.
Cool.
And when Meredith samples that or filters it, we might be able to see what these flocks are.
Neat. That'd be great.
One
One thing. Oh no. Okay. Thank you,
Can
everybody.
we change course to 265? Thank you. That's
Very
cool.
nice. You can see the current.
Oh yeah.
I think that's another one of those.
Jumping ones?
Yeah.
The anemone?
Yeah.
They jump?
Okay, come wide, please.
And just to catch people up on what this dive is, it's along about 100, 200 kilometer long ridge. It's very enigmatic, very different from our previous dives on seamounts. And we started the dive about 10, 11 hours ago at 3,900 meters, almost the maximum depth of Hercules. And we were kind of coming up this chute, this very steep slope. And I was really hoping to be able to see outcrop of different rocks and structures, but it ends up being a good portion of a talus slope with broken bits of pillow and lava along a majority of it.
Look how much detritus has been gathered. Sorry.
And then we're pretty much over at the top of this ridge. We're off the steep part, and now we're working our way towards a small peak.
Oh, I think there may be a fish there.
Oh no, it's just the shape of the rock.
Something else,
Okay.
It's a fish rack.
I thought it was too.
I looked like,
Come
yeah,
on,
it really looked like a fish.
Yeah, I catch those fish all the time. we call them stick fish.
You do the thing where you put the dead fish on the hook and then pretend you caught it?
So we do have some more questions coming in regards to the sampling of the snow clumps. Is there any way that we could gather that, or like if you were to gather a sediment core for any other reason, that we'd be able to look at those
So
things?
normally I would suggest taking a sediment core and you could just position it over a big clump, but we tried taking one a couple dives ago and it was way too sandy. We weren't able to get a good core.
Thank you.
And I don't know, it might be, if we see a good spot, it might be worth it to try again on this sediment, but I have a feeling it's still going to be too sandy.
That same composition that we've had before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of
Can you zoom in,
bamboos.
please?
Nice.
Man.
I'm going to shift this question over to Emma here. What determines when you bring the ROV up to the surface? Is that a navigator call, or how do you guys determine when it's time? Conditions?
I think that could be answered by a few people, but I can certainly try and answer it.
Okay.
We sometimes have a specific time that we want to get the ROV up so that we can get the samples off and then transit to our next dive, because we want to get as many dives in as is possible and also still good quality. And so we go up at 15 to 18 meters per second, or per minute. And yeah, that'd be really fast if it was per second. And so depending on how deep we are, we, calculate back how fast it'll take to reach the surface. If we have a specific time, we want to be up there. Right now, we don't have a specific time. We can kind of explore as we want, but we probably will go up when we get near waypoint 3.
Thank you, Emma. That's awesome. And then I have a question for our ROV guys again.
Sure.
How does the laser work?
It's really just 2 laser pointers that are aligned and mounted 10 centimeters apart, and then we calibrate them. So yeah, they're just kind of 2 laser pointers that are put side by side.
Are they set at a particular distance apart? And
yeah, 10 centimeters apart.
And what is the intent of that particular?
Yeah, it's just to create some scale of what we're looking at. So like right now, you can see kind of how big the rocks are. So if you take a screen grab, you can measure on the screen that what the 10 centimeters is, and then you can go around the screen and measure rocks or measure what you're interested in, and you'll get a sense of scale.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
This looks larger than some of the stuff we've been seeing.
Yeah, Steve had on the previous watch had mentioned they had seen some smaller versions of these things, but now we're getting up on top. They seem to be a little bit larger.
Looks like another bamboo.
Yep.
I think it's the same one that we've been seeing.
I know that they've been seeing a couple other species in the previous watch too.
Well, so
can't tell between
this
them.
looks branched. The other one, I think, was just a single, or what, am I wrong?
I thought it was branched, not as extensively.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, come wide, please.
A lot of them have those crinoids in them, the lighter color.
Oh, there's a single one there.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like a different species.
And a shrimp next to it.
Oh, so cute. We actually grabbed a sample of that.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. I'm very impressed.
I was too.
Wow.
I don't see any nodes there.
No, actually.
Oh, I think that's also a tunicate by it, a stalk tunicate.
Oh, okay. To the right.
To the right? I think that's a tube worm.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, it does look tube wormy.
Come wide, please.
Yeah.
Good spot.
So Liz, I know we were talking last night when we were diving down that we were kind of expecting to see this sparse distribution of organisms across this landscape, or seascape, excuse me. Is that what, just based on what we've been looking at so far, is it kind of what you expected too, or?
Yeah, I think generally that, we are still seeing corals and sponges, but not in the high densities we had seen at the shallower depths.
Yeah.
Well, what depth do they typically start happening to see the higher populations?
I want to say around 2,000, but I'm not confident on that.
Yeah, I think that's what I remember too.
Yeah. It was seeming like it was like when we were doing the last dives as we were going up to those areas that they seem to pop in, and just.
I think it depends on the area though, and like some seamounts are going to create higher flow lower down maybe.
And just to give folks a bit of a reference here, we're currently at 3,320 meters. Our temp at this depth is 1.46 degrees Celsius, and we're at a 34.7 degree or parts per thousand of salinity, PSU for salinity. So it gives you kind of a idea of the conditions in this environment. Rob, I know you're really excited to explore this particular area. Has there been anything that you've seen that's been distinct or unique about this seascape here that has stood out to you?
You read my mind. I was just thinking about that because I was watching when they initially dropped down after our watch last night, and I'd periodically wake up and check the screen every half hour or so, and nothing really jumped out. I was trying to, hopefully this would be a way to tell the difference between an ocean island basalt, which is a typical seamount sort of characteristic, or if this is a morb, which is a mid-ocean ridge basalt, which would be what most of the oceanic crust is composed of.
Okay.
And nothing jumped out here. I mean, we see, some more, seem like more pillows here, but there's no real good cross-section that we could see, any sort of layering that I would expect to see with a morb. So I think we're going to have to rely on our good friend Kevin Conrad to do the geochemistry to...
oh, cool.
Because he can identify, look at the chemistry of the different, rocks to identify whether it's an ocean island basalt or a morb.
A morb with a B.
A morb, yep, that's it.
Yeah. Morb. It's an orb with a morb. Sorry.
Something morb.
Will you zoom in, please?
It's like a looking bamboo.
And if you see a rock that looks like a morb, it's not morbid.
It's not morbid?
No.
Dang it.
It's morbite.
It's a morbite.
This is another bamboo, I think.
Is that a crinoid on the bamboo?
Yep, it's got a couple of them.
Two.
Ooh,
Oh,
look
wow.
at it. It's like, hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning.
I think it's catching stuff out of the water, maybe?
Right, because of the way it's positioned itself, right?
It was
It's
just
kind of at the
repositioning,
top.
maybe.
Or it got caught.
Yeah.
Come live, please.
Do you think we could try to get a close zoom on some of the detritus on the seafloor?
Sure. Let me just get ahead a little bit and I'll sit down.
Yeah, what kind of detritus is that again?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, what's interesting is you see the detritus, it has a little color to it.
Right.
But most of the sediments you see here are the tests of the shells of forams. So if you scooped it up, it'd be a bunch of small, almost like little mini snail shells made of calcium carbonate.
Cool.
Because we're out in the middle of the ocean, and so there's really no source of terrigenous material except for windblown stuff from like the Gobi Desert.
Oh, interesting.
There's no rivers nearby, so most of the stuff is biogenic. And it could usually be either calcium carbonate or silica, but at this latitude, there's a good chance it's mostly carbonate.
Okay.
Can we zoom in, please?
Yeah, that color makes me think of something that's like a photosynthesizer, but...
Right. It kind of gives you that impression that, like, I keep thinking it's like a...
Yeah, see the little bleb in the middle? There's a little seed or like a nucleus sort of thing to all these.
Yeah. Well, that was a good shot when it just floated by. That was really helpful. Because, yeah, like my brain went straight to like algae or moss or something, but then like you said, we're not photosynthesizing down here, so that wouldn't be present.
Well, it could be something photosynthesizing in the surface that then sinks down.
Sinks down.
Conglomerates with everything
Okay, thank you.
Okay, come live, please.
Or these zooplankton eat the photosynthesizers.
Right, well, there's also, they might have things caught in them, you know, if it is like a forum with a lot of those spines, that catches a lot of material as they sink.
Cool. What are we seeing here, Rob? Where are we on the ridge right now?
Oh, we're coming up a little seamount that's on the very top of the ridge.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave is zooming out for us to give us a better view of where we're at.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm
so we already...
Emma's zooming out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Emma.
Oh, is that? Okay, thanks, Emma.
Control of the bathy.
I don't touch that stuff.
Yeah, no, I thought Dave's voice had changed a little.
Got a little higher. Maybe a little more laughter.
And this area of the map that we're seeing is of higher elevation than these areas.
Yeah, but the flatter top, the one that has the more distant, wider space contours, the lines, that means it's a little flatter.
Flatter, and now we've got...
And if the lines are closer, that means it's steeper.
Steeper.
And what's nice that the Rennie who made this map, I believe, or maybe Lynette, they did some false illumination.
Oh.
So they kind of pretend like there's light from a certain direction, and it kind of gives it a little more detail. That's why you see the shadows and the bright spots on this thing. It's a little cartography trick that they do that helps the to view these things.
Yeah, this imagery is really fantastic. It looks really nice. It helps a lot. How many waypoints do we have for this dive?
Just three. Well.
And we skipped one of them, right?
Oh, hey.
Well.
We tend to do that.
We did take an intermediate
We
point.
just don't like the even-numbered waypoints.
Yeah.
We're all just odd.
Some are odder than others.
Yeah, it looks like there's mostly pillows and lava flows here. This one might be in place.
That's an interesting transition there.
Yeah.
Right, like look at that.
I mean, around this whole feature, there's an interesting like bench or change in slope, but it happened a little farther below us, and I didn't really see anything. I was expecting to see something like this that kind of went around the entire ridge. But it may have just been lava flows that kind of were sloughing off or falling off. It really is remarkable with all this marine snow how little sediment really is on top of this ridge.
Yeah, I'm really thinking that this is not necessarily the typical conditions. That this is a sort of event that's happening, that we're happening to catch. Because if this was the norm, you would see a lot more life down here taking advantage of it.
So when you say event, what kind of event do you think is happening at the surface that is causing this type of productivity to appear before us?
So basically probably a phytoplankton bloom. So for some reason, conditions in the water have made it so that a lot of plankton can grow all at once. And then you can often get a bloom of one species all at once. So maybe if this is a bunch of phorums, they can have photosynthesizers associated with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what's interesting in this feature, as long as it is, it's about 3 kilometers high from the seafloor. And if you're moving current in this area, I mean, it has to come up and over and back down the other side at some level. So this could be some sort of an upwelling.
Oh.
And Liz can tell you what happens at upwellings.
Yeah, so there's more nutrients in the water deeper down, and so when you get an upwelling, you have that nutrient-rich water is coming to the surface, and the phytoplankton, they're normally nutrient limited, so nitrogen and phosphorus are usually the big limiters. And so if you get more of that, all of a sudden you can get a big bloom where a lot of them grow at once to take advantage of it.
Wow.
Wow.
Would this be something that would occur seasonally, or would it just,
so there's normally, depending on what part of the ocean you are, there's normally a couple of kind of big seasonal blooms in usually in the spring, and then again sometimes in early fall, late summer.
Oh, okay.
A lesser one.
What are these like darker colored, like stripy things on top?
That's where we want to zoom.
Okay, let's see.
I was looking at
I
the
know you're being passive aggressive there, Josh.
Looks like some kind of feeding tracks, or
is that a holothurian track?
It might be, yeah. It looks like someone was hoovering stuff up.
Oh, okay.
It's too small for Bigfoot tracks.
Dang it. The underwater Sasquatch, I know we're going to find it.
Yeah, it looks like it's just scraped off that top layer of sediment.
Cool.
That's really cool.
Almost looks like it's going back and forth as it moves along.
Okay, we'll come wide, please.
Yeah, there's been some like time series camera data on the movement patterns of deposit feeders, and they have like different ways of kind of trying to cover the most area of seafloor as possible, and finding like the patches of food.
So do you think maybe the holothurians are doing such a job cleaning the surface of these features that that's why there's very little sediment? Are they vacuum cleaning the area?
But like, don't cucumbers, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, Liz, but cucumbers don't necessarily scrape? Like, do they have the feature, like the actual physical ability to do that, or are they just like picking up?
Yeah, well, they could pick up everything off the surface of the rock, but then the thing is they're mostly just picking out the kind of good bits, and then they're excreting the rest of it. So it's not like the sediment's gone forever. It's just moving it around and picking out the organic bits. So I don't think it would like completely get rid of all the sediment. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Does the excretion contribute to their tracks too, or is that primarily from their feeding habits?
That'd be from the feeding.
Zoom in, please.
Okay.
You would see like a little pile of sediment.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, like those little beads of sand or something that kind of come in a trail? I'm having a visual right now.
And Tina, our scientist ashore, was wondering if the possibility of snails for these things as well. It could be.
Maybe. I don't know of any sort of large snails at this depth, but that could be.
So we get back there. I have a question here for everyone.
Come on, please.
I'll give a second here. So with so many screens and buttons, how much time did it take for you guys to get used to adjusting to it all?
Michael?
It takes a bit because there's always a lot to take in. There's a lot of things to look at, and you know, Herc pilots have to look at everything that they're looking at to fly around and stuff like that, and Argus has to look at everything for Argus and Atlanta has to look at basically all the same things, and then plus whatever the Herc pilot doesn't look at when they're not looking at it. Kind of follow behind.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dance you guys have to do with the two.
Yeah, because if the pilot wants to use a manipulator, I got to be aware of. We both have to be aware whether or not I'm swinging. How much time we have, what's around. That's why it's important to make sure that I'm centered on Herc, because while the pilot's using the arm, they're not flying really. They're just like parked in a space. So it's basically hands off the wheel. And
is this another bamboo?
so there's quite a bit, but it doesn't take. Once you start getting in a sequence in a loop,
think so.
you're pretty good.
Okay.
You just got to be able to pick out what's different in that loop real quick.
Thank you, Tina.
And then, so then that kind of like with all of this, I think that the second part of this question was kind of really with all of that kind of how to figure out your sense of place or where you're going. And I noticed like we have different waypoints. Does that help guide you guys in how to move the ROVs around in the area, or
Zoom in, please.
kind of plan your route, I guess? Is they're kind of asking. It's like, how do you guys figure out where to go?
Yeah, we have
node branching
bamboo. We have a pre-planned route, basically. That's on our navigation screens, and then we can see, we overlay the ROV's position on top of the telemetry map, so we can see where they are on the screen itself, and then we also use a different navigation tool.
You guess one of those parasitic anemones?
Sorry?
To see the position of the ROVs relative to the ship.
Okay.
And
I think it's another one of those parasitic
so essentially,
maybe, yeah.
The navigator, Emma's moving the ship, which moves Atalanta along the path, and then I'm basically following. I have a little more freedom to roam around, but I'm essentially, in general, following, leading Atalanta, but I can sweep back and forth, which is why sometimes you say, I'm getting behind. When we say that, it means that I'm, Atalanta's getting ahead of me, because it's constantly being pulled by the ship. And so I kind of have to keep up with that general pace. And so, but right now we're moving at a speed where I'm just kind of like sweeping back and forth, but generally moving on about a 265 bearing.
Thank you.
Yep, you can see how the lava flow is breaking off on the edge here. And then that stuff starts working its way. It's a lava flow, and you see all the pieces have broken off the edge.
Okay.
The same thing happens on land when you have cliffs and things like that.
Okay.
We got something big up and to the left.
And I just want to circle back on the episodic upwelling that Liz was talking about. When I was looking at the circulation from the high-com ocean models, it was pretty interesting to see how variable the currents were in this area. I mean, you would think the real deep water is heading north and intermediate water is moving south, but it's much more complex.
Zoom in, please.
Do you think because of the bathymetry being so complex?
Yeah, I think it's the topography because it seems to follow, it's a little faster in the deeper areas in between the valleys and the seamounts. And it does change because I looked at, 3 years worth of data, and it does have a seasonality to it. And even in the dive plan here, I looked at the month of June and the month of July. And the average flow is significantly different between the two.
Interesting.
So just kind of speaks to what you were talking about, so episodicity or periodicity of this.
We'll come live, please.
Wow. So maybe we should come here in December again.
I'm down.
And Liz, excuse me, another question just in regards to collecting sediment. And I know you've mentioned this before, but is the slurp a good way of gathering sediment? Is it helpful, or are there ways?
Not for the sediment.
Okay.
It's just going to kind of mix it all up, and there's a decently large volume of water, and so you would just get like a little bit of sand at the bottom mixed with a lot of water, and so.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hey.
Is that a sea pig?
Is it a
yeah. No, that's a sea cucumber. Could we slurp that?
Yep.
I think we can.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
And maybe not.
I think he heard us.
Right. So I'm out of here.
Yeah, they say it back.
Okay,
probably a Amperima, maybe Peniagony.
Now, is that organism moving itself, or is that the current and the organism working?
I think that was Herc.
Bridge now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was me. I was I was trying to catch up, and then I put on the brakes, and then that kind of washed a bit of.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Can we hold position?
Sorry? Oh. That could be one of the ones that's creating those paths on the rocks.
Think I need to back it up?
No.
Okay.
I might just have to spin that one around.
So I have a question here for Rob. I think you would best answer this. In what ways does this seascape that we see here off the coast of Hawaii differ from what we would see if we were diving off the Atlantic coast or landscape?
Oh, there it is.
You're muted.
You're muted.
In the Atlantic, we don't have nearly as many seamounts. I mean, the closest ones on the east coast are the corner and New England seamounts.
Make sure that's in the right
and,
one.
they've been doing studies on those, and I think it's very consistent with the pillows and lavas and things like that.
Okay.
The biology is going to be a little different. But yeah, the Pacific is by far has the largest number of seamounts on any of the oceans.
Does that have to do, so are there more active volcanoes in the Pacific Ocean than the Atlantic, or does it have to do with depth, or?
It's a combination
all
of
kinds of different characteristics.
I mean, one, the Pacific is
I'm on a flush
older
right now.
and larger.
That's right, you were talking about
you
that.
can run it for a
Plus,
sec and then
in the
move
middle
it
of
to
the
have to check
Pacific
which
is
jar is
something
open.
they call the
which jar do we want to put it in?
Super swell.
Jars 2 and 3 are open.
2 and 3 are open.
Yeah.
The South Pacific super swell, which is a large, what they think is a fairly persistent mantle plume.
Oh, okay.
That kind of comes up, and it's created things like the Darwin Rise that may even been responsible for some of the seamounts here. And plus, there are a larger number of, hotspots or mantle plumes, like what's creating Hawaii.
I see.
In the Pacific. I mean, they're not as persistent as the Hawaiian plume has been.
Jar 3.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a whole range of these sorts of features.
Wow. Thank you, Rob. Is this the same sea cucumber that we saw earlier, or is it a different one, but same species?
You mean on a different dive?
No, the one that was floating around earlier.
Yeah,
this is the same one.
Okay.
Same individual.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think we got them.
I believe this is an Amperima, maybe Amperima rosea.
And then this question can go out to anybody, but I know somebody had asked earlier in regards to, do you ever invite artists or, what was the question? Artists, photographers, or graphic designers onto the Nautilus?
We can put it on like 20.
If anybody has that answer.
20.
I feel like that's a Megan question.
I know they have had artists in the past, yeah.
Is it on? Oh, can you back up a little bit? I can't see the arm. Yeah, thanks. There we go.
Nice.
That was
Beautiful.
Did I get in?
Yeah, it's going. Just don't turn it up. There it goes. Maybe bump at 5%.
Total of 25.
And then as soon as it hits the jar, turn it off. Oh, I'm getting pulled now. I'm just going to come up off the bottom. It's just in time.
That was pretty skillful.
Did they get it? I missed it.
Yeah, there it is.
There
Okay,
it
we'll
is.
turn it
Yay.
Very nice.
Slurp
Thank you.
jar
Oh,
2,
hi.
right?
off. That was 3.
I
Nice.
believe. Hold on, let me double check. I can get you. I get you. 1,
That was 2.
Yeah. 2.
2. There's jar 2.
Awesome.
There
Thank you.
Auto retract worked good there. Okay, now I got to do some catching up.
And I got to climb.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, pilots.
And when you do catch up and get everything situated, it'd be nice to get another rock sample on this peak.
Wonder if we could just try slurping some of the flocculants, like
Yeah.
off of a rock
Yeah, I could do it like a really low suction and then try and do that, yeah.
later on when we have a little time. 'Cause, I mean, it's everywhere.
Back it up, and I'm going to turn
Sample
to
What is it that you wanted to slurp?
Sorry?
Was it 104?
Correct.
Awesome.
I'm calling it the flocculants, the
Okay.
kind of detritus.
That's floating around in the water column. Okay, cool.
Oh, is it you want the marine snow stuff?
Yeah.
So it looks like dust bunnies
these
where
as a
it
race
collects.
We're going to do
Yeah.
another sample so we could just keep
I was
the ship
thinking
stationary.
some area
Sounds
maybe on the
good.
rock where it's collected. Just do a little slurp.
Yep.
And I
That'd
think
be cool.
think that should work.
Well, are you the Totoro fan? Is that?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
The little soot sprites.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we'll see when we put it under microscope. So part of the reason I wanted to collect that cucumber is because there's clearly a lot more food available here than at some of the other sites that we've been looking at. And so I want to compare and contrast and see whether their gut microbiome is responding differently to this high food event versus the kind of background normal low food, low flux.
Was that a purple cucumber that just went by the screen?
Yeah, I think so.
That's cool.
Let's get going the right way here.
Yeah, and just to follow up on the types of rocks and things we see here in the Pacific and the seamounts, Tina, our scientist ashore, also indicated that, yeah, there's more sedimentation in the Atlantic. The Pacific is larger, so you have larger oligotrophic gyres, which are basically deserts of the sea. So, and we're kind of like a smack dab in one with seamounts. The Atlantic is a little smaller, so those oligotrophic gyre regions are a little smaller too.
That's pretty interesting.
Is that a sponge? Yeah.
That's a sponge.
I think it's a Euplectillid.
Sure. Sorry, I don't know sponges.
Me either.
Okay, back in a better position now.
So you want to rock?
He always wants a rock.
Okay, twins and
you
sisters,
did it.
here we
Oh,
go.
you did it. Oh, you
On
did it.
3, 1, 2, 3. I want to rock.
Oh, you opened that one up.
I walked right into that.
Oh boy.
Now you see why I don't karaoke.
I
think
love
you should karaoke.
What is your favorite song to karaoke if you karaoke?
I like All Star by Smash Mouth.
Ooh, okay.
Because I can't sing, and that one's mostly like talk singing.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Just let me know if...
Mine is
there anything
Janice
you wanna
Joplin,
kind of,
Bobby McGee.
is there anything you want to pick off? Like, you know,
Yeah,
like are these round ones?
anything down here if you could find.
Yeah, you think that's okay?
I think that'd be fine.
Okay.
It's a big, flow on the surface, and these things are probably relatively close. Actually, my favorite is I do Beethoven's Fifth.
Ooh.
Sounds like fun.
Because you know all the lyrics.
Exactly, you know all the lyrics.
You know all the lyrics.
I like to do Tequila because it's the only song I know all the words to.
Isn't that the only word in the song?
Tequila.
Tequila.
Well, I have to explain the jokes.
No, I'm going to have to say probably tequila too.
Anybody else?
Yeah, whatever you can find here,
Something
Josh.
by Taylor Swift every time.
Oh, I love T-Swift.
Oh, not the T.
Oh. I think 1812 Overture is good too, because those go.
The cannons?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was so funny. You want to rock?
I know. I
Would you like a geological specimen?
Yes.
That sounds much more official. Oh.
Ooh, nice. Nice and loose.
I'm going to pass this question to our scientists. So do the people on each shift that request the samples, are they responsible for the research or on that individual sample?
Sometimes. I mean, so I've been requesting cucumbers, and those are, I'm going to be studying them.
So
yeah, that looks representative there. Good, Josh. Thank you.
Okay.
Part of a sheet
spot to
flow.
put this one in?
There's boxes C and D open on the starboard bio box.
Okay.
Sorry, Liz.
No, it's okay. But I mean,
cameras changed around.
They'll be, I'm not. They won't just be used by me. I'll kind of do what I'm interested in with them, and then the rest of them is preserved and is going to other places, to museums.
Uphill there.
And so then the scientists on other watches, if they see a sea cucumber that might be of interest to you, then they would gather it for you if need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, if Steve wants a certain coral, we'll collect that for him.
Then we grab that for him.
And for the rocks, I mean, Kevin's
and
processing them, and he's taking small bits that he's interested in using. But the remainder go to a national facility, a repository, and these are going to the one at URI, the Marine Geology Samples Laboratory.
Oh, the rocks.
Yeah, and so anybody can, request a sample of these and have them processed and shipped to them.
C you said was open?
Really?
Yeah,
So
C or
because
D.
they're in that repository,
Yep.
then it's accessible to.
Yep.
I don't want to say the public, but those others professionals in the field.
It's funded by the National Science Foundation, and they support a student and an assistantship to fulfill the needs and not only to.
We can try. Maybe put it on top of the scoop.
Oh, this will work.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it should go.
Good.
Oh, wow.
Great,
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you.
In this, they record all the metadata, the depth, the time, and all the information about when the sample was taken.
Oh, okay.
And they also, if a cruise report is created, they provide the cruise report to people too as well.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, that's the rocks on the background. Okay, yeah, we can dive salvo.
The karaoke's on.
Once we're settled, did we want to try and get a detritus sample from around here or from a little farther up?
Nope, that's not what I want.
Do we see anything? I don't really see.
I don't see
any big chunks right here,
but
yeah.
I can. I'll look and they seem to gather on all the crevices and stuff in the rocks. So I'll have the ship stop right now, so I can just slowly poke around.
Yeah,
sounds good. I love it when it looks over the ridge. Just simple.
To the abyss.
Yep.
Are we zoomed in on at Orlando? Okay, perfect, right there. That's good. I just don't want to be freaking out. I'm like, what's going on?
Don't see too much in that little spot.
Yeah.
Of course, you see it everywhere, and then when you want to get one,
till the moment you want it.
Yeah, but Michael, I can't remember if you told us before, but what's your research for your graduate degree?
I'm a physics grad student, and I'm currently leaning towards plasma physics. I recently have been involved in a group at UCLA that's been doing plasma diagnostics, like different methods and techniques to measure to find measurements on how to, like, see what's going on in different phenomena. And then I think we just put out a paper just like this February, March.
You did?
Like I helped.
Nice.
I didn't do it.
I have so many questions.
But so do I. I kind of helped it, so I kind of lucked into that one. I just kind of.
Nice.
I basically was a verifier with some of their data. I was like, we think this is going on. Can you verify this? I'm like, yes. I just ran it through Python.
Okay.
And made some pretty pictures. And that's about it. But
sounds like you're downplaying your role.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I think you're talking it down a bit.
Yeah.
Right, because you said plasma and physics, and I'm all, what?
You're like, back up.
So yeah, what do you mean plasma and physics? Is that like the movement of the plasma?
Well, everything, right? So, in particularly, they're looking at.
And where is the plasma found?
They're trying to. Well, we recreate it in the lab.
Okay.
There's a large plasma detector device at UCLA, and so they create the plasma in the lab, and they're basically looking at the interactions of like atmospheric and solar wind plasma type stuff, but basically like aurora borealis type stuff.
Whoa. Whoa.
Recently, they've been also looking into what is it called? I forgot what it's called.
Sounds like 3 syllables.
It is 3 syllables, though. I think you're going on underneath me, so I think
I'm going to turn back this way. I was just looking along the bottom of that little slope. I'm hunting for detritus. Yeah, it's one of my favorite jobs.
So yeah, sorry, shifting that, Michael, that sounds so interesting, and I'm going to pick your brain probably for the rest of the cruise to understand it all. But like in this area, what I just noticed as you were talking is this extreme drop off to the left that we're now kind of in. Is that what I'm seeing?
It kind of just flattened out into sort of a bit of undulating kind of.
Because it looked like we were up on something and then we kind of came down.
Yeah, I came over top of a little ridge, little nose, and then it's kind of flattened out a little bit in this area. That's usually I've been seeing little piles like in and around these rocks on the sand, but now I'm not seeing them.
Yeah. Why did they just vanish?
Wow.
Well, maybe the currents are different in this little open area, and they're just not collecting here or something.
We'll probably come across them again.
I'm sure we'll find.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about? Is that a little bit right there? Can we? Oh, maybe not. Can we zoom in, please? Just double check. No. Huh. It's a tiny bit there. But
yeah, I think we can find something better.
Yeah, we'll get better.
Is that an anemone on the rock there?
Oh, maybe. I can have a look.
Where?
Zoom in,
that
please.
little.
Oh, I think it's a coral. Crinoid.
Crinoid.
You see how they have the little tube anchors? Oh no, yeah, it is crinoid.
Crinoid.
Yeah, it's a crinoid.
That's a very large crinoid.
I missed that. Good spot.
Okay, I'll come wide, please.
Want to get it moving and explore?
This can be. Let me go. It's still swinging, so let me go a little further, and just in case we find something to stop again.
Sounds good.
It looks like it.
There's so much in the water, but not on the seafloor.
Man, a lot of water.
About right there. Can we zoom in, please?
Bridge, go ahead.
What about that spot?
Ooh, that looks good. Yeah. Yeah, we can do a little slurp along there.
Okay. All right, well, come wide,
Yeah,
please.
I see it on the wind speed. Thank you.
God, the line is still swinging, but I'm going to sit here and see if we can get this sample.
It's getting a little gusty.
Yeah, the wind's going to pick up over the next little while.
Yeah.
Okay, try not to disturb it.
So Liz, what do you think those things taste like?
The detritus?
Yeah, the
probably not like much to us.
Maybe salty or
salty.
Salty, yeah.
Come on.
Like seawater?
A little crunchy if it's forms.
So yeah, I can go to the jar, get to the
That
bucket
just took me to
cam,
Austin Powers
maybe go to
Goldfinger,
flush
Gold
it out.
Member, was it? Gold Member?
And then I think
What?
we're going
Austin
to
Powers,
3, I believe,
there
right?
was a character in Austin Powers and he used to eat his own skin.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. This was before your time.
I would figure it tastes more basalty.
Oh,
Nice.
That's a good one.
Thanks, Dad.
Basalty.
All right.
So we'll go for, you just want to try and get as little sand as possible?
Gross.
Yeah, it's okay if we get some sand, but
Okay.
I just didn't want it to end up.
I was having a hard time turning.
Uh-oh.
Maybe if you do a low flow,
There you
it'll
go.
just get the loose stuff on top.
Okay. Give it a good run. Run it for like 100% just for a little, just a bit, and then we'll back it off.
Let's see, it does seem kind of dirty in there.
Yeah. We clean up after these scientists who don't give us clean jars back.
This is what I like about exploring. You just kind of go along and
Yeah, I think so.
see
Okay,
something
so
and say,
let's
what
go
the heck
to-
is that?
I'm
I
at 30.
Let's go to 20.
I love when you see something you don't expect.
Okay,
It's
please
the
zoom in,
best.
please. That's good. Just out just a little bit, just so I can see the arm a little bit. Thank you. It's 20?
That is 20.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Nice teamwork.
Beautiful.
And maybe a little bit of the stuff on the, or no, on the left.
Okay, I'm just gonna get this a little bit.
Nice.
Cleaning the seafloor.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
This job is never done.
We have to keep our oceans clean, that's the whole.
Yeah.
Getting pulled on a little bit now, I think.
Yeah.
Can you come down? You're like, delta's like 26.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice and clean.
So, I didn't see
Get
it go in there. Can you come wide, please? Maybe just turn it off for a second and see if it might be because what'll happen if it's really light, it'll just go
Turn it off for a
up to the
second?
top of the jar. Yeah, so turn it off for a sec. Did you see anything go in there yet?
I have not.
I
Not?
didn't either.
Okay, maybe leave it running. Sorry.
Oh, there's something.
Oh, no, there's
Yeah,
some stuff
some
now.
stuff showing up.
Great.
Maybe run it just a little more, like 30.
10. 20. 30.
Whoops.
Well, that seems like a lot.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
That
there
should
we
be
go.
enough.
Yeah, there we go. Okay,
Yeah.
stop
Yay.
Oh, well.
Nice, thank you.
it. Yeah.
They may have been disaggregated a little bit, so
yeah, it's okay.
have to look at the.
Oh, I'm excited to see what you find, Liz. I want to come check it out. Oh, hi.
What was that?
That was a successful pit stop.
Just a little cleaning, little vacuuming.
Well, take the bubble real quick.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the galaxy collector, the sample collector from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
The collector?
Yeah, that's it.
We're seeing a lot of these red shrimp.
All right, catch up time
I feel
again.
like we've been seeing them on each dive, yeah. They're just very prevalent.
Yeah,
Them and the crinoids.
Oh yeah.
The little tiny shrimp.
Yeah, but a lot of the benthic shrimp that we sampled on this dive is actually kind of different from the other ones that we've been seeing. I think like it has like super long legs rather than you know like the little shrimp that has like little.
I think I saw a couple of those in the previous dives.
Oh, nice.
But
okay.
yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to sample here while the ship is stopped?
No, we're good. I mean, we got some nodule earlier.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
well, you can get the ship moving again.
Is this another nodule garden, it looks like?
Again, I don't know. It looks like nodule. It smells like a nodule. I'm not sure if it tastes like a nodule.
I know.
I'm just glad I didn't step in it.
Sure.
Can we make a course of 265 at
Old
0.3
joke.
knots again? Thank you.
Those are some interesting rocks.
Yeah,
they're like
kind of exposed.
They're very round.
Yeah.
The nodule's kind of covering it there.
Why do you think that we're getting these like very round formations here?
Well, I think, you know, when we cut open the previous ones we sampled like this, they look like they're, you know, not really tiny bits of basalt covered with manganese, but they seem to be a little, you know, larger ones. So I'm still trying to figure out where you go from a rock that's coated in manganese to a manganese nodule.
Right.
So it seems like there's a...
Let's look at this coral.
Sure.
But, you know, I just want to keep collecting some of them just to see if there's a variability.
We'll zoom in, please.
Because people at the USGS are very interested in the geochemistry of these, you know, how the manganese coatings may change. You know, from location to location.
Looks like another bamboo.
Very fluffy polyps.
Thanks.
Yeah, come wide.
Okay. So we have a general question here. Anybody feel free to answer. Are any of you involved in space explorations as well as ocean explorations, or do you have an interest in knowing what's happening in outer space being ocean explorers? What's your take on that? Open floor question.
I would totally go to space.
I've been like kind of tangentially involved in some astrobiology, which is the study of like, you know, potential life elsewhere, mostly using life on Earth, microbes. And I think that stuff is really cool. I would definitely do more of that.
Like astrobiology?
Yeah.